Greetings again and welcome to the United Hot Series Web. It's an awesome day yet again to talk Manchester United just after us being disappointed at the Etihad Stadium, losing to our noisy neighbors in Sky Blue. The talk about Manchester United is becoming too much. A lot of yappy from all the naysayers, the Arsenal supporters, everyone is talking Man United and how we failed to beat Manchester City after threatening to do something. A team, it doesn't look good at all. My name is Webb. Welcome to the United of Sport. How has been your day? How did you recover from such a humiliating performance, if I would call it that? Because I mean, losing to Man City, either you're humiliated or you dumbfounded. And indeed, I think for me, we had both. We had both. I think more dumbfounding than being humiliated, because really for me it wasn't that humiliating a loss. But there's so much talk about Manchester United today. We'll talk about exactly what's going on. Apparently, Ineos have given Erik Ten Hag an ultimatum. They have given him an ultimatum. It is extremely possible that he could not see the end of the season. Now, that's what is coming through. It is emerging that whereas it seems Ineos are quiet and silent, that they might be patient until the end of the season. Apparently, he could be sacked before the end of the season so that the work starts early with whichever new guy they would want to bring in. That's according to the latest that we are getting. But also, there is news. There is a story from The Sun, and I want to read it for you. That seems to suggest that players, minority of the players in the dressing room are not happy with Erik Ten Hag and his training methods. Now, you have always called it players being lazy. Yes, I have as well. But honestly, I've also questioned the intensity with which most of our players, play. Now, here is something from The Sun. I'll read it for you quickly. Frustrated Man United stars think Erik Ten Hag's grading training regime is to blame for the injury crisis amid rocky season. This after, of course, you do remember that we've got new players who might be injured even for the next game against Everton. We might not have perhaps one of the two. That is Marcus Rashford and Johnny Evans. You saw how Johnny Evans was so busy. The man in 36 was playing and running with his heart as we were playing Man City. But even Marcus Rashford was defending well, running in. Everyone was defending. Garnacho was defending. Everyone was defending. Like they were fighting for dear life. Now, this apparently, Erik Ten Hag said after the loss that Marcus Rashford and Johnny Evans were substituted off because they were not at 100% coming into the game. They actually put in a good shift, a good enough shift for them to even push to beyond 60 minutes for both. And that's why he pulled them off. Now, there are queries, according to reports we are getting from The Sun. And I won't read the piece in its entirety because this is not something new. We've always, been highlighting it. Now, according to what we gather, the news that is coming through is that players do feel that Erik you do realize that all this leaking happens if we are not performing well. Yeah, thank you, Ernest Kavuta. Check my audio. Yeah. I think my phone was off. I think I'm okay now. So I was saying that it is a sad thing to see that our our what's going on in the dressing room is beginning to leak again. But this is a sign that things are not going well at all, because if you're performing and getting results, if the players are feeling what you're doing, if players are happy, you won't see any bad news leaking. Nothing bad will leak if things are happening, if performances are happening, if results are coming. Nothing will leak. But it's all because now results are beginning to look bad. People are beginning to look frustrated. The players are also looking to lift the load off them and put it on someone. And obviously they will leak this news, because obviously dressing room things leak from players. So it's a sad thing that we're seeing this happen. Not that for me it's something new. I've said it clearly, from the way we play, from Erik Ten Hag style, it is too demanding, and clearly it is the reason players get almost similar injuries. They get almost all the same kind of injuries because of the way they play, the intensity with which Erik Ten Hag wants them to play. But so that is what you're getting. There is a concern, and it's possible that Johnny Evans and Marcus Rashford could be doubts. But of course, let's see how they do manage them going forward. So just to give you a bit of updates before I even get proper into the proper full talk of the team. Some news that Paul Scholes, who I just said doesn't think Erik Ten Hag will stay for long, spoke about. Uh, Thank you, Ernest. Welcome aboard. You are now getting me. Yeah. But tell me, Ernest, how you dealt with. I don't know. First of all, where in Malawi did you watch the game from, and how did you recover? How did you see it? To be honest, for me, I felt like, whereas I did not expect us to come and outplay Man City. I did not expect us to come and try to play the ball better than them or more than them. I honestly think, for me, that we tried to have a game plan. For me, the one positive I would take from that game, and guys, you might debunk it, but I'll be honest, the one positive I would take from that game against Man City is the fact that you would see that we had a game plan. We had a strategy. And Erik Ten Hag, the only thing is that I'm trying to fix my sound, guys. Just pardon me, please. I'm trying to fix it. It's too bad. Well, I had power issues earlier, so they were not fully charged, but yeah, it happens. It happens. It happens. We'll go with those who stick around or who will join us later. Sorry about that. Ernest, is it okay now? Is it okay now? Do you get me now? Somebody tell me you get me now. Oh, it's warning again. It's warning again. It's saying I'm warning you. It's saying warning, 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 warning. I'm warning you. You gotta chat me. So here we go. So there we go. We should be back on again now. So yeah, I'll keep switching my mics, but because I've just got power back and I had a lot of gadgets to charge. But yeah, it's all right. So Paul Scholes says that Lisandro Martinez is not a Man United player. This is a statement from a legend. You know, some of these legends, and we always wonder why these legends are never the best pundits. But Paul Scholes coming out to make a statement like that about Lisandro Martinez up to today has failed to augur well with me, and I think so many of you will feel the same. That according to Scholes, Lisandro Martinez is United, but he's not the right quality of a Man United defender. Now, honestly, I think Lisandro Martinez is clearly now showing and proving it to the world like that he's our most important. Seeing how we've struggled without him, he's proving clearly that he's. Thank you, Ernest. That he's our most important player. But for Scholes to come out and make such a statement at a time like this, for me, it's now a bit disrespectful, as if looking to undermine everything Erik Ten Hag is doing. And you see, this is the thing with clubs like Man United. These big clubs, these legends can force out a manager. And of course, now that would be a popular decision to make for Sir Jim to sack him. But imagine if uh, if Erik Ten Hag is not a manager many wanted out, if things were going well, but some legends didn't want him, because to make such a statement, I mean, the one credit we can give Erik Ten Hag for, honestly, is his signing of Lisandro Martinez and Rasmus Højlund. We can blame him for all things and we can want him to go. We can, call him up for all wrongs he has done, but he deserves credit for signing Lisandro Martinez and Rasmus Højlund, because I think actually post Sir Alex Ferguson, Lisandro Martinez is the best defender we've signed. It's only that we've not seen so much of him because of injuries. But for me, he is the best defender post Sir Alex Ferguson. In fact, I think just that he's a modern defender. He's a ball player. He passes the ball. He gets involved in play. He plays from the back. He passes. But he has got even all the other attributes that the likes of Michael Carrick had. He has got all the other attributes that the likes of not Michael Carrick, the likes of Nemanja Vidic, the likes of Rio Ferdinand, the likes of Yap Stam, all the other attributes. They were bigger guys in terms of height and body, but he has got even an age. None of them could ever pass the ball the way he does. So for me, for Paul Scholes to make that statement, I mean, for me, it's again takes me back to the British English media and what they can do to a manager. But not that Erik Ten Hag doesn't deserve, but I think going and now attacking players who should be praised, I think is bad. It's clear that we're missing Licha, and you're coming out to say that he's not good enough to be a United player. From Paul Scholes, I think that was quite disappointing. But we're not here to discuss Paul Scholes and his opinions. This is all as opinionated as all of us, probably has a bigger right to an opinion about Man United and football than most of us do, because he's a legend of the club, and we respect that. But I would disagree completely with him when it comes to that. But guys, and I want to put it to you, whether the boss should be really blamed for the most of what you're doing, because I've had people divided on Man United and our situation. People are divided. Some are saying that the players should be blamed. A few, or perhaps many, are saying that it should be the manager. And right now, as we are seeing, I've just told you there is an ultimatum. uh, so what? Here's the thing. I was saying that what someone is telling me that they have come to like the work I'm doing, but if what I'm saying doesn't come to happen, they will lose trust in me. Guys, here's the thing. Let me first tell you this. I think this is a bad threat. Someone has just commented on one of my past videos. I don't know. In things change. I can tell you it's possible that Kylian Mbappe now, who seems to be confirmed going to Real Madrid, things might change and it doesn't. Things change. There is nothing guaranteed. But for me, there is nothing I come here and I tell you without a source. There is nothing I come and talk about here unless I'm giving an opinion. And when I'm giving an opinion, I make it clear that it's an opinion. But when I come here and I tell you that these are the list players Sajim would prefer to keep at Man United, it's coming from somewhere. If it is my list, I will say it that these are the players I would think Sajim should keep at Man United. If it is not my list and I've got it from somewhere, I may not tell you the source. I've told you the source of this story. This is not my story. The story about Bruno. Rather about the players and being, some playing the grilling methods of Erik Ten Hag are the ones causing the injuries. This is not, I told you where I've got the story from the Sun. I've just read it for you. But when I come here and I tell you that these are the players Sir Jim would want to have back, I was here the first to come here and tell you that Mason Greenwood is open. Ineos is open to the idea of bringing Greenwood back. Sir Jim, I told you this way before even the interview. I told you the man is open to the idea of bringing Greenwood back. It happened later. So I have my sources. So guys, someone is sending an interesting thing as if to try and bully and or intimidate me. I think it's not right. This is football. We're just enjoying football, but I'm not. At least I've got enough credibility. I think I've earned enough credibility to talk about Man United and break stories. I don't even know what this legend was because Martinez is one of our best defenders. Yes, Martinez is the one who dictates. I think Martinez, by the way, and the son and Onana are the two guys who dictate how we play with Erik Ten Hag. Andre Onana and Martinez. We saw what Andre Onana did against Man City. The few good moments we had, how even the goal that Rashford scored, I think he started the ball, the quick, start to Bruno, and then Bruno, has a very beautiful control and sets up Marcus Rashford. Andre Onana is so pivotal to how we play. Very important. He just has got to match it with his shot stopping consistently. But Andre Onana is so important in how we play. But Lisandro Martinez, and for me that to have come from Paul Scholes was as disappointing as they come. That was so disappointing because Lisandro Martinez is clearly, when he comes back, when Martinez is in the team, we are different. We're a whole different team. He makes us better by like 60% or even so. So I honestly also don't know what these legends want. But you see, the way British media works in football is they and these coaches even respect them. You saw how they listen to them, they respond to them with respect. So there is that. That is how this football was. But yeah, I keep looking here because I don't want my sound to go off again without my knowledge. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad. But I think the blame game should not be coming now. I think we are trying to fight. We are in a war. We are in a battle where every game counts, where we want to push and finish as high as we can. We should be sticking together. I remember Erik Ten Hag was singing this song back then when we were enduring our worst run in ages. But this man has now coached 100 games, by the way. And here's the funny thing about Erik Ten Hag. We can say everything and anything about him, but Erik Ten Hag will live with his head high. He has the best, I think he has better stats than Sir Alex Ferguson did in the same number of games. I think so. And this is something I need to verify. But he has played 100 games, he has managed 100 games, won 61, lost 28. Guys, 100 games managed, won 61. He was won 61, lost 28. Guys, we need to give this stats, and people today are fascinated, by stats. And that's why for me, when I come here, and I talk about Erik Ten Hag, I don't want to talk about results. I want to talk about what I see. I don't just support Man U just to see a good result, to see them win. We can as well come and just kick balls and they hit on opponents' bodies and we score and we win. I don't support Man U just so that it wins. For me, I support Man U because I love football, but I love football first, then I love Man U. So if Man U is not playing football that I love, even if they win, because you don't only win by playing good football. Because football is a story. I think it's a story. That's why we fell in love. That's why it's called the beautiful game. You want to see beautiful, something beautiful. You watch Man City and you want to sit there and watch them honestly. When they are passing the ball the way they do. Even if we don't like them, we acknowledge that they are good. That's it. So we don't want to dwell on the results because I'll tell you, we beat Luton, but that is one of the worst performances I've seen in Man United play for in a long time. But we are getting results. We won the game. So should I be happy because we won, or should I be sad that we are winning like street guys, some village team? So Erik Ten Hag has the stats, and we can credit him for those. But even Sir Jim is not convinced. When he was speaking for the first time, he clearly said it. He clearly said it that he wants Man United to play good football. Sir Jim made it clear that he wanted Manchester United to play good football. The way we see Liverpool, the way we see Man City, that's important. Erik Ten Hag is struggling to get us to play good football. Now, what does that mean? So there is a huge problem that I think really now we are getting to the bottom of. Alfred Sendo, how are you, my brother? How are you doing? I'm good, man. How is it going? Welcome aboard. Thank you for coming through today. Today has been a bit of a marathon because of disturbances with the sound and stuff. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys an interesting story on Sunday, the day we played the game. So you guys might be heartbroken because of the loss, the Man U loss. Imagine me, it is double heartbreak. The same day, I was heartbroken. Then I came to do the game here. I actually failed to do the watch along because I was so heartbroken. I said, let me just watch the game and react to it after. And they beat us again. They beat us, and I'm again heartbroken. So it was double heartbreak for me. The two loves of my life sort of broke my heart on the same day, on that Sunday. Very bad, very bad. So I'm trying to recover. I'm trying to recover. But yeah, anyway, let's move on. So yeah, that's the thing. So there is we've for the longest time been talking about Man United and the players who should leave and what have you. But guys, there is no clarity. There was never clarity on which players will actually stay at the club, because funny thing is, it looks obvious. The players who we must keep seem to be obvious, but the funny thing about football and and the business of football is that at times you have to make money, and it could shock you that there are players who we see are important, who are good, but we could actually Yeah, yeah. So I was saying, I was saying, as I watch you from Kenya, I can say that Onana, Martinez, Dalo, and Maino are the only ball-playing players in Manchester United. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Edward Musumba. Alfred said Erik Ten Hag can't play well because he doesn't have the material that can play good football. He wasn't given the players that he wanted in the first place. Ralph said the team needs a total overhaul. Uh, Tash Pro, Erik Ten Hag out. He failed to get us a playing style regardless of him breaking records. Interesting. But you see, let me be a devil's advocate, if I would call it that, because many people are for Erik Ten Hag out. But I was explaining something before my sound died, and I'm going to explain it again. We can call out Erik Ten Hag, and I'm one of those every day who comes here and calls him out for not giving us a playing style that's definitive. And I know I am right. And there could be reasons why it's failing, but it's a fact. We are not seeing the playing style, and it's not definitive. Is it the players? Maybe. We will find out if he's given the time. But the one positive we need to give to Erik Ten Hag, guys, the one thing we did have is Erik Ten Hag, of all the managers we've had, seems to have given us a key pillars in all departments on the pitch for us to build this team to build this team around. And these pillars are too strong that they give us hope that it is not going to take a long time to put this team right. Let me tell you what I mean. I hope I'm not repeating myself because again my sound had gone off. I don't know where it had gone off. In goal, we've got Andre Onana, who we know is a world-class goalkeeper, but had just joined the team in a huge mess with too much with so many poor players up in front of him. And obviously, it was always going to be a difficult start for him. But Andre Onana is beginning to pick up. Every day you see Andre Onana is getting more confident and better. He's now becoming a good shot stopper, good in 1v1 situations, good reflexes. He's improving by the day. That's the reality. We can go on and look back to how many games we think he was a contender for man of the match. If Man United had won the game yesterday, Andre Onana would have been my man of the match, regardless who scored the goals, because he kept us in the game in the first half. He had key moments. So we have a big guy in goal. In the defense, we have Lisandro Martinez, a big personality in the back. In the middle, we've got Kobe Maino, big player in the middle. Up front, we've got Rasmus Højlund, hot big striker up top. You can add on Garnacho if you want on the right. But me, I will take those four: Onana, Lisandro Martinez, Kobe Maino, and Højlund. Now, if you're going to build a winning team, you must have a strong fulcrum of players who are in the right age, have got the right skill, have got the right mentality, and have got the right physique, because even that matters for them to be able to be firm Premier League players and be bullies. Then you build the team around those. I will say this while I relate to Chelsea, because we are in a situation where Chelsea was when Roman Abramovich took over. When Abramovich took over Chelsea, the one thing he did right, and that's why all his managers nearly succeeded. Whenever he kept firing and hiring, it still kept competitive. They never went back to square one. You know why? Because Abramovich knew well that he had to keep the key pillars in the team. Peter Cech, John Terry, Frank Lampard, and Didier Drogba. 4 players that they would fire managers, let go of players, bring new players, but the 4 most important pillars in that team were always there. So there was continuity. It was always going to be easy for whoever new manager who would come in to build, because they had 4 strong pillars in all departments of the pitch, from the goalkeeper to the central defense, the midfield, the attack. Very important. That is what Roman Abramovich did, and that's why Jose Mourinho succeeded. He didn't come by succeeding. I mean, most of these guys won either Premier League. They won titles. They were competitive consistently. But you see, with United back then, with Erik Ten Hag, rather with the Glazers, they did not know well to keep pillars in these teams or have those strong characters. So each manager who came in initiated a disorganization, and he made it more disorganized. it was a continuous disorganization. Where in like a disorganized spree. Erik Ten Hag right now, if Erik Ten Hag left today and they handed you Ernest Kavuta, the team, it would be easy for you to fix this team than it ever was for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Why? Because there are the four departments of a football team have got big pillars in all of them. We can't say a bit young for the role, but he's good enough. He has proven that he's young in age, but his football is for a mature player who is strong enough to be a pillar. That's why Sir Jim and his team, they are contemplating building the team around him, around Kobe. You build the team around Kobe and Hoyland. So these key pillars are always going to be important. The same thing with Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson always had his key pillars, even when other players kept coming and going. He would keep his Rio Ferdinands, keep his Roy Keane, keep his Wayne Rooney, you know. But then Van Nistelrooy will come and go. Van Persie will come and go. So and so would come and go. But Paul Scholes, but he had key pillars. It's very important. When you have those key pillars, it's always going to be easy because the players form the team, really. The managers just support the key pillars to be strong and stay competitive. But we lacked that. So Erik Ten Hag, in his weakness, has the one manager who we can say, if he left at the end of the season, we would credit him for having created us pillars, which we know can take us for some good time, even if we sacked managers every day. For as long as we have Lisandro Martinez, Kobe Mainu, Rasmus Hoyland in that team, we will still stay competitive. And a strong goalkeeper, Onana, improves and gets better. Trust me, Man United will always be easy. Just bring other players around them. The other players don't even have to be the exact best. Add a few spiking players, a few good players, but we will still stay competitive. It's a very good thing if you're going to rebuild the team, not from scratch. It's as if kept rebuilding from scratch. Very, very important. You give this team with those key pillars to a winning manager like in the future, maybe like, and I'm not saying you bring back Jose Mourinho, but I'm saying it is easy for managers who know how to win to build around Lisandro Martinez, Kobe Mainu, Rasmus Hoyland, because these are big players. They will win you games of football. So I think it's a very important thing. Ernest Kavuta, we as Red supporters don't even have patience with the manager. I personally back him. Yeah, I think, I mean, for me, I'm still trapped between a rock and a hard place, honestly, when it comes to Erik Ten Hag. It looks like there are quite a number of things that he has done right. He has shown personality. That's one for me. It's very important. He has tried to show personality. He's a strong guy. He's clear. You can see that Erik Ten Hag is a strong character. I mean, I think if you're not a stoic guy, he would have resigned because he has inherited such a rotten team. This team has been so rotten that Erik Ten Hag, even when, that's why I say I don't even want to say sack. If we want to let go of him, let us not call it sacking. He needs to live with respect. I would sanitize it and call it parting ways. Because the reality is, Erik Ten Hag has initiated a rotten squad and has been too strong that he has tried to grind and grind and grind. And at times he was even forced to say, at some point, I don't have the quality to play the football I played at Ajax. I also don't have to be consistent. By the time that came out of his mouth, he was telling us these players are just too bad. Or the system is just too rotten. But also we knew the rot. So it was always going to be extremely difficult for this man. But the fact that we are having players like Lisandro Martinez who play good, Kobe Maino, just his second season, then he signs Rasmus Hoyland. I think the one player who could save the job of Erik Ten Hag is Hoyland because, boy, we have struggled for so long to have a striker who would give us hope. Right now, I think Hoyland is up there with Erling Haaland, even when he has played way fewer games than him. But he has shown that he has the potential to be as good as Wayne Rooney, not even Van Persie or Babatov. And we've had so many strikers, not Zaha. He has got the potential to be as good as our best striker ever. Yet he has played only a few games, but he has shown it already. So Erik Ten Hag has got, because we were here questioning their money. Why? How would he spend 72 million? This man came and confidently backed this boy, even when he was not scoring goals in the Premier League. But the first game he played, we saw it. We saw why they paid 72 million quid. The movements he was making, the runs and everything. Then we started attacking guys for being selfish until they started passing him the ball, and bang, the rest is history. So that's the confusion with Erik Ten Hag. But you see, a club like Manchester United, and that's the sad bit about it, you don't have the time. People can only understand you for so long, but when you're not getting the results that they want, they will lose it, and then these legends will come, then the media. But I look at Erik Ten Hag and I reflect on how Sir Alex Ferguson started at Manchester United, and I'm like, really? My sound is muted again for the last 12 minutes. We need a central defensive midfielder. Maino is a potential candidate only if he is disciplined to close the gap between midfield and the centre backs as a modern central defensive midfielder who not only defend but also create chances. Like Paul, yes, very important. I agree with you 100%, Maktoum. 100%. You're right on the money. We need someone, but even if Maino is there, he needs a partner, because Casemiro is gone. Edward Musumba, for 12 minutes, I was off for a few minutes, really, trying to fix the sound. But it seems okay now. I don't know whether it is the same for everyone else. I think the sound should be okay. Ten Hag seems to just plan to win games and not create a team for long term. The statement he made that he cannot play the game he coached at Ajax. If I was the Ineos guy, I would sack him. Yes, Maktoum, and you see, that's the thing. He's and those are for me the things that I look at him and I get a bit divided torn. And I know how hard it is for him, the road he inherited, but the statements he makes at times, I'm like, has the job become way too heavy on him? Has he failed to understand English media? Is he falling into the trap of this British media? So that media can make you make mistakes, unless you're Sir Alex Ferguson or Jose Mourinho. But even Jose Mourinho at some point would be forced into errors, but he was smart and experienced enough to know that this is a trap. But Erik Ten Hag has trapped way too many times, saying one wrong thing too many at times. And you're like, no, you're a Manchester United boss. You should know well not to say that. You should know well not to make that statement. You can't make that statement about Man United. You can't do that. But yeah, I honestly think, for me, if he stayed and was given an extra, season, I wouldn't be the same. The reality is the reason these players can't play is because they are not good enough. But the bigger part of me feels whatever he's trying to play is not for Manchester United, but also it is not for the Premier League. Erik Ten Hag's style of play is too demanding. I've just told you the players were complaining. Players run way too much. His style is too demanding. Now, these players will always be injured if he's going to keep playing like that. These players are always going to be injured. Now, that for me is another huge problem for him. Let me just confirm how my sound is, because someone is telling me I've been off for 12 minutes. I might be talking to myself.
The Athletic, now. Unrivaled football
I could be
insight
talking
for just
to myself,
$1 a month.
And that would be extremely going dangerous. To be injured. Now, that for me is another huge problem for him. Sound is okay now. Sound is okay, Mr. Musumba. The sound is fixed now. So, Ten Hag seems to just plan to win games. I think the reason that is so is because he agreed that these players accepted that these players won't play his style. So let's for a win and finish the season. Then gets a window, buy his players, and tries to play his football. So maybe Ineos can want to judge him after that, when he has bought the players he would want, because we also know that there are some players who must leave this club. Even us who are not managers see it. So that's where the confusion is. But for me, even if these players can play his football, I don't think even at the very best of Erik Ten Hag's style, when the entire squad was back, and I don't remember the team we beat before Richa got injured again. I think it was Wolves or something. I still don't think that football that we play with Erik Ten Hag is for the Premier League. It is high pressure, high intensity football. Yet the league is already way too intense rather. It's way high intensity itself. Players will keep getting injured. Two, players can't run like that. You saw how Kobe Mainu was substituted off against Man City, but this boy could barely breathe. The boy was just gasping for his breath. They work way too hard. Bruno, what does that boy feed on? I hope he's okay, he's normal. These days they keep finding things in these players. I hope this guy just runs way too much. That's dangerous for anyone. These players are footballers, they are paid a lot of money, but they are humans. Even the training methods are running, and they have always been saying this. The running is too much, these players will get injured. Just ensure the players are fit, but you cannot just run. When you run too much, you begin, you get a block, as if a mental block. I feel like at times Bruno Fernandes gets a block in his head because he has been running and running. Have you ever, if you've played football before, I don't know where you played football, that's where I played football as a kid. The coach used to punish us by telling us to go around the pitch for about 25 laps. That is the worst form of running I've endured. You just go and run around the pitch. And back then, I think that is how teams used to train. You run around the pitch. Erik Ten Hag is still doing those things. Players running around the pitch for how many laps? They run and run and run. You can't play football. You can't enjoy football if that's how you train. It doesn't look like Manchester United players are enjoying football. Even when we win a game, honestly, it doesn't feel like they're enjoying themselves because of how they play. Phil Foden, Manchester City players enjoy football. Arsenal players enjoy football. So Edward Musumba, Anthony out, Pedro Neto in. They won't call back Greenwood. So we are waiting to see with Greenwood. They seem to be open with the idea, but of course that will take a lot, not just being open. But Sajim wants to meet with Bruno, or rather with Greenwood, and understand him, sees for himself, and get the facts right. He said he will make that decision himself. So he wants to meet the boy and read him, and he's a smart old man, rich man. They know how to study people. If he's really a genuinely good person, he will give him a second chance, I think. But again, you're talking about Pedro Neto. Many people are talking about Pedro Neto. Also, this Michael Olise, you can talk about Pedro Neto, who is good, by the way. But you see, the Premier League is a little funny these days. It's a little funny. You usually want to, at this point, you might want to go with the tried and tested, because we've seen it that so many guys have come from abroad and struggled a bit in the Premier League lately. So would you rather go for anyway, it's debatable, but I don't want to go into players who play the Greenwood position. I also don't want to go into players we will bring in yet, because we've spoken about so many players, and every day we are linked with a new player. It's of course from the deep, but what I know is that Sajim wants to buy a centre back, very important. They want a left back. They want a striker. They are still a bit silent on a midfielder. But the key areas that we know Ineos wants to sort first in the summer are central defense, left back, and a striker. Those are the key areas they want. Now, Marcus Rashford, guys, he's scoring screamers and belters. He's doing this stuff. So what does that mean? Where does that leave him? Do we then keep him because he's looking like now he's scoring goals and was trying to find a way after scoring his goal? This time he respected the fans and stuff. So do we keep him in the summer, or are these goals just good enough for us to overprice him? You can give me your opinion about whether you think he should stay or leave. But yeah, it's another hot conversation we need to have about Mason Greenwood, because the reality is he's rather about Rashford, because the reality is he's now beginning to confuse people. There are certain he was being applauded by the away fans. Even Pep can't manage Man United with the squad we have now. Not at all. We have mechanics. Our players are not talented. Pep manages talented players. Our players are not talented. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have about 4 talented players in our team for now. 5 and Hoyland. Plus Garnet. We only have about 5 players, but you see, those 5 players are the ones we want to stay. So no, any manager would struggle with this United. Honestly, any manager would struggle. These guys are not ballers. They're not proper ballers. They're not 100. They're not attractive. That's the reality. That's the painful, unfortunate reality. These guys are just not good enough. It is sad, but it's the fact. Usually, as I'm wrapping up, I always want to first look at the latest. There could be an update. So Erik Ten Hag is still trending. It's might be disappointing maybe, but he's still trending for all the wrong reasons. Some want him out. Some are saying it's he can be given time. But yeah, I think I've exhausted most of it. Today's live was a bit challenging. The sound issues. I had power issues today, so my batteries, my microphones were not fully charged really. So, but next time better. Next time better. So my sound has been dropping off for a few minutes. Yeah. But the reality is, we cannot build our team around Bruno or Rashford. We need to build the team around Kobe, and I've just told you the players. And Ten Hag has been given an ultimatum of 3 games. So the third, I think, will be Brentford. If he loses those, it is very possible that he might not live to see the end of the season. He could be sacked. We have an interim. Maybe Paul Scholes will be called. The pundit who says Lisandro Martinez is not a Man United player handles the remaining games, and then after that they bring in their Graham Potter. Interesting United. Anyway, that's the club we love, and that's where we are. So let me just read. People rated our performance below average. The performance against Man City, 43% of people, over 102 people voted below average. Wow, that's bad. That's bad, and all that goes back to Erik. But yeah, that's where there's no really new major update, except if you want to see the highlights. So Erik Ten Hag chooses players of ignoring the game plan after. Nah, this is wrong. Well, the moments where they dropped the game plan, they conceded. But yeah, that's part of the game. It's difficult to be chasing an opponent for an entire 90 minutes. Really, you definitely lose concentration. But I'll leave with this, guys. I'll end today's live with this about Manchester United. That whereas Manchester, and I know that you as a United fan right now, you're dumbfounded by what's happening. But from the things I just said, explaining to you the core that we have, the players we have, the good players, the few players that we want to stay, the fact that we seem to have a bit of money and a few syllables, I honestly think that Manchester United has the potential to be a very dangerous team, a whole different team next season. It is clear we have the potential. It doesn't matter, by the way, who the manager will be. It doesn't matter. If we bring in the right players to add to this team. And from that note, tomorrow, we are going to look at which players we need to add on the core. The core of the 4 I mentioned. How are we going to build the team around them? What can we do to have a competitive team at the start of next season, even if Webb was made the manager. I'll make myself the manager for a day, for an hour, to show you that there is hope. Let's forget about this season. Top 4 for me, even it doesn't even matter. I wouldn't even mind if we didn't make the top 4. I know we need Champions League football. We can be 5th and be in the Champions League. Yes, we can be 5th and be in the Champions League. But you see, at times if you're restarting, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It will not hurt us. It's okay. If it fails, if it comes, that's what we would wish for. It's good. If it fails, it's okay. Let's look at the bigger picture, the longer term, that we are in a new dawn that seems to be promising. For me, I've never felt more confident than I am in what is happening at Man United. I think there is much reason for us to be positive. It looks so bad, but I think at times it has to look so bad for it to look so good later. Sometimes you have to fall for you to be, of course, not all the times. You must fall before you can go up. You need to fall before you can stand at times, or you need to go down to get yourself up. I think for me, we are in a decent place for the next season. If we go into the summer transfer window, do the right business, which I believe we are going to do, get the right players to build around that fulcrum from that four. Trust you me, with Onana could be back and will be dangerous. Alfred Sendre, I feel we need to give him time and give him what he wants. Arteta hasn't won anything tangible, but they are still keeping him. Klopp, same. We've changed coaches just like Chelsea. That's why. I cannot disagree with you. It would be a good thing to see what he can do really if he gets the right players and the right structure around him. He has shown signs that he can be good, but he has also shown signs that things is not progressive. So that's where the confusion is. A rock and a hard place, but either way for me, I will follow. What I know, it doesn't matter who the manager of Manchester United will be next season. If we go into the summer with the new structure we are putting in place, get the right players, which I know we will with the new structure, Man United next season will be unstoppable. We won't even need a long preseason because the core, see, when you have the right core, you don't need a long preseason. When you have the right core, you don't need a long preseason. The preseason then will be because you have a core and a template. The other players fit into the template just need to be fit. That's all. But thank you so much, gentlemen. My name is Webb. Thank you guys for sticking with me even through the challenging audio today. Will be better, but I appreciate each and every one of you from wherever you are. We do love United. Tomorrow we'll talk more about what we need to do. Unless there is there are more breaking stories. Of course, United, we're a gift that doesn't stop giving. There's always news about United. If there is something new, there is time for us to postpone. But yes, tomorrow we'll talk about Mason Mount. Mason Mount is trying to recover. He's on a steady recovery, by the way. He's on a steady recovery, and yeah, we will see when he returns how fit he will be. I think he can have a role to play in this team. He can still have a role to play in this team. I've not completely given up on him. I just wasn't for his high, and I felt like he was brought in without a proper plan for him. But I think he can still be an important player for this team. Thank you so much, guys. Have yourselves a good night, a good morning, a good evening, wherever you are. God bless you, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Alfred, we'll find out tomorrow about Mount, but he's training.